Welcome to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show with Dickson County Head Coach Jeff Tomlinson and Dickson Post Sports reporter Casey Patrick. The Dickson County Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Pamela Witt First Lending Solutions, where your dreams find the perfect mortgage match. Lee Canifax with Health Markets Insurance, your local Medicare specialist, voted #1 for health insurance. Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience, voted the #1 auto dealership in Dickson County. Tim Sutherland with Rolling Hills Realty, where trust meets expertise, navigating the real estate market with confidence and unlocking your home dream. Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, for all your flooring and paint needs since 1970, voted #1 in Dickson County. And the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, here are Coach Jeff Tomlinson and Casey Patrick.
Hello and welcome to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. My name's Casey Patrick. I'm here with Coach Jeff Tomlinson today.
Hello.
Coach, first of all, last Friday, homecoming on the hill, and you guys did pretty good against Kirkwood, I thought. But what's your estimation on the game and how it went?
We executed the game plan very well. Offensively, we wanted to establish a good running game and be able to move the sticks down the field and punch it in the end zone. Defensively, we played a real soft coverage. We forced them to throw underneath and run the football, and we rallied to the football and tackled it.
And was that kind of like a emphasis early in the week in practice? I mean, I've got enforce your will written down right here. So I mean, is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah, absolutely. That's that we talked about it last week, and it started on Monday of last week. We wanted to prove that we were going to play very physical. We were going to be strong at the point of attack. We were going to just be run downhill and just make it a very physical football game, and then not allow them to beat us deep over the top.
Now, is that why I know McCaleb Frazier's a big part of your offense and defense, but sometimes he gets a little bit more carries than others. Is that kind of why he got more touches?
That's exactly why he got more touches, because he's bigger and physical. And we even had a package where we lined him up at tailback. Normally we use him as our fullback, and we lined him up at tailback and actually brought in an extra offensive lineman into the backfield to block for him, and just that was called our heavy package, and we were just coming downhill with a bunch of big bodies.
Now I know some teams they have heavy packages like that too. They come up with a special name for it. Does yours have a special name?
No, we didn't name it. It was just heavy package, so it was just heavy. So we didn't name it.
Now with the run game being as dominant as it was on Friday night, I know that it takes a team effort, but do you think it was more? Do you think it was more on your running backs or more on the offensive line that really helped you get that done Friday night?
You got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line, of course. I mean, you can't go anywhere without those guys, and they took it to heart. They was like, yeah, we get to be big and physical this week, and we get to push people around, and they had fun Friday night doing that. But you got to give the backs credit as well. They were downhill, running it hard like we asked them to. We told them we wasn't running around people, we were running through people, and they did a good job of that.
Now, I tried to keep up with stats Friday night, as I usually do, and it's hard to do. But I think at one point, and it was later on in the evening, I only had 2 or 3 passes that y'all even attempted. Is that what
I think it was 3 on the night.
Really?
And we completed one. It was 1 for 3 for like 17 yards passing. That was just part of the game plan. I mean, we wasn't going to throw it unless we had to, and or if we felt like we could beat them deep because they were coming up really hard on the run. We did take 1 deep shot, and it didn't. It was incomplete. But that was just part of the passing or the game plan. This week, we'll talk a little bit later. It's not the same game plan.
Okay. Now, one of the long passes, and I think Noah Thomas had just intercepted a pass, and then I think the deep pass was maybe a post to him.
Right.
Were you just trying to give him a little bit of payback for the interception, or does that just outline?
No. That's always you always think about doing that. And I saw that over the weekend.
Yeah.
A kid, and I can't remember who was playing, but he intercepted a ball on defense, and a few plays later they rewarded him with a touchdown, and he scored a touchdown on offense. But it was Noah because it had been Noah all week in practice, and I didn't want to change it, and I because he wanted to practice it all week.
Okay, now when you do have an offensive, and trust me, we're going to get to the defense as well because they were fantastic, I thought. But when you do have an offensive performance like that, you put up 42 points. Who are some other guys, and Noah Thomas, of course, on defense, but who are some of the other guys on offense? I got Macaleb Frazier in my article. I got Malachi Redmond in my article. They did great. Wyatt Grambling with the long run. Who are some other guys, and you can go into that offensive line if you want, but who are some other guys that you thought really helped you execute that game?
Yeah, well, obviously the offensive line. Trevor Ashworth was a big part of it. He had a lot of fun pushing people around. Brody Carruthers was also another one that did a really good job of the offensive line. Not, the whole line did, and I could mention them all, but they did. But the slot in this whole thing was Isaiah Daniel and Elijah Fernandez, and sometimes they were lined up in the smokestack. It's the number 2 back, and sometimes they were lined up out at the slot position away from the tight end. And they did a really good job of what their keys were and what they had to do in terms of being involved in the running game inside the box, so they did a good job of that. And we mentioned Whit Farrell too at tight end. He knew this week he was a blocking tight end, and he did a good job with that.
And that leads into my next question. A lot of people don't really think about this, but your downfield blocking from your receivers, and we've talked about it before, but It's important. How much fun did those guys? I know they want to catch the ball, they want to do receiver stuff, but how much fun did they have just pushing people around?
Well, we did, early in the year when we was at Columbia, that's the thing, we watched film on them showing them how much they didn't block. And they've improved a lot since that Columbia game. Landon Carr, first thing I said to him today was, great job on the block that Wyatt scored on, because there was nobody out there except for him in the corner, and he sealed the corner off perfectly, and Wyatt it was just a race to the end zone at that point.
Yeah, and I had a good angle of that play from Wyatt. It's kind of like a fake for a jet sweep. I think it was Malachi, but I'm not sure that was the fake in front. I can't remember.
It was either Malachi or Elijah Fernandez, one of the two.
Well, and the defense has to key on those guys because they're so talented, and they had a lot of production Friday night.
Right.
And Wyatt was just able to slip around the back, and I didn't notice that block, but of course, you go back and you watch the tape.
Right. Well, I didn't notice it until I watched the film as well.
Yeah.
We actually pulled Trevor on that play as well, so we pulled him back out to lead Wyatt, and when he pulled around the corner, he had nobody to block. He just stood there looking. He didn't know who to block because they was all flying to the motion and flying to the jet sweep.
Yeah, and Wyatt got out into space, and to his credit, just was gone.
Wyatt's fast, and you don't realize that, but Wyatt's a lot faster than he gets credit for.
Absolutely. Now, again, like I said, we are going to talk some defense, so make sure y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to take our first break, and then we'll be right back.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
Looking for a mortgage loan? Look no further than First Lending Solutions. We make getting a mortgage easy, with no hidden fees and no surprises. We work for you, not the bank, so you can trust us to have your best interests at heart. Get pre-approved in minutes and enjoy a seamless, stress-free experience. Apply online or call us today.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Friendly customer service and a great selection of vehicles. Visit us today.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 paint store in Dickson County.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Come see why we were voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. Visit SteveJonesAuto.com.
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick here with Coach Tomlinson. Coach, we've already brought up his name once, and I was just talking about him, Trevor Ashworth. There were a lot of guys in Kirkwood's backfield Friday night, but he was there a bunch.
Right.
And I know you've already talked about him once, but I want to bring him up again. How important is it to have somebody that is mean like that and get stuff done at the line of
he's
scrimmage?
extremely aggressive. We talk about being mean. It's a good kind of mean. It's not. He's not deliberate or dirty or anything like that. He's just a very physical style player. He's one of those old school type players that he's bringing it every play, and you better put your pants on, because if not, it's going to something. He's trying to impose himself on anybody and everybody, offensively or defensively, and that's just the way he plays the game.
And it's fun to watch, but your defense in total, I thought Friday night was really disruptive, and I thought they did a really good job. Now, I don't know the X's and O's nearly as much as anybody else in this building, but as a coach, how rewarding is it? I don't know if that's the right word, but how rewarding is it when you see your guys that do execute the game plan like that, and they are disruptive and they do what you're asking?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. You just stand over and smile because they've learned it this week. They have bought into the game plan, and they're having fun executing it because it's executing the way it's supposed to. And it's just, it's really nice.
Yeah, and one of the other things, too, is I know that Kirkwood, they wanted to throw the ball a lot more than they got to Friday night. I mean, Ashworth in their face, the other defensive lineman. But how good, when you went back and saw the tape, how good were your defensive backs? How good did they play Friday night?
They did really well. They're exactly what we wanted. We wanted an umbrella coverage over the top to where we couldn't let anything get beat deep. Now, we did burn one coverage for the touchdown in the first quarter. But other than that, they played lights out as far as their assignments and what they were asked to do football-wise. We felt like, they count numbers in the box. And so we were forcing them to count the numbers in the box by taking people out of the box and making them run the football. Because if they count the number that they're looking for is not there, they know that we have a lot more people in coverage, so they kind of forces them to run it. And that's what we were doing because we knew our defensive line was good enough, and a couple of linebackers, we'd keep 5 there in the box, and they were good enough to cause havoc and disrupt stuff. Now,
how different would that be from a regular week? Are there a lot of teams that kind of run their offense like Kirkwood, or is that kind of a newer thing now?
It's a newer thing. Tennessee does a similar thing, at the college level. But, they're calling it from the line of scrimmage, and they're looking over to get the call from the coach because they're counting from the box upstairs. They're counting the defense, and they're getting a call. And, they were getting frustrated because they wanted to throw it, but we were just going to sit back and let them get 3 yards in a run and just, play that soft coverage. And, it's frustrating for a team when you take them out of what they want to do.
And that kind of messes with their patience too, right? It forces them into mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it does because, teams like that, they do not want to put together a 10, 12, 14 play drive and score. They want to score in 3 plays. Mm-hmm. And when you force them to move the ball from the 20, 80 yards into the end zone, they get very impatient and they start messing up and they start making mistakes, and that's when you start seeing interceptions.
Now, one other thing I wanted to ask about your defense, you did have a really dominant night Friday night, the one mistake in the first half where they got the touchdown over the top. What are some other things that you saw Friday night that you'd like to see your defense clean up?
Well, I tell you, we did a couple of times at the linebacking spot, we were just overrunning a play or just overrunning the top and not having a good angle to make the tackle. And then we'd have to fall back in on the tackle, which now instead of it being a 2-yard gain turns into a 4-yard gain. Just some simple things like that. Defensive line got a little bit pass happy and was trying to, run up field and get to the quarterback whenever on a run play. You don't want to be caught in the backfield. You got to play the line of scrimmage, and you got to be able to slide both right and left down that line of scrimmage and play the run play. So they got a little pass happy and got a little rush happy at sometimes too.
How hard is it to kind of keep kids? I don't know if patient is the right word, but how hard is it to keep your kids, disciplined so they can keep their gap?
They gotta read their keys, and we teach them every week what the guy in front of you does dictates what you do. So if I'm a defensive end and I see that offensive lineman's head pop up real fast, then I know he's pass blocking and he's setting with a back set and then I can take off. I can go, I can get upfield, and I can try to rush the quarterback. But if that offensive lineman's first step is forward and he's like a down block or he's moving forward, then now I have to react to a run play, and then I got to play up and down the line of scrimmage.
And one more thing on your defense. People might hear the difference between a 2-yard gain or a 4-yard gain and not think that's much, but when you're going up against opposing offenses, you're trying to keep them behind the chains to force them into passing situations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want to be less than you want. I like to be 2nd and 8 or better on second down. So we're giving up less than 2 yards on that first down play, and then on that second down play, we want to be 3rd and 5 or better, because like the other night, we had a defensive penalty. The offsides penalty gives them a first down. Well, if it was 3rd and 6, it would still be stinking 3rd down. And, that frustrates me when we get penalties anyway. But, those types of penalties,
right.
those unforced penalties.
For sure.
But, you want to stay behind the chains, or you want to keep them behind the chains. That way it dictates the percentages of what's going to happen next is higher when we know what the down and distance is.
Okay, and I've got one more question for your defense. I know I saw quite a few names at the linebacker spot. It looked like there was quite a bit of rotation, especially there at the end, because you were able to get some younger guys in. At your linebacker spot, who were some guys you thought had a good game Friday night?
Isaiah Daniel played really well. He was playing the mic. We actually flipped him and Elijah. Elijah normally plays our mic, but we moved him outside to the strike just simply for the passing purposes of the week. And then Peyton Overton's a staple. He's always playing well there at linebacker and did a really good job.
Awesome. Well, Dickson County's defense was really good. If you weren't here to watch on Friday, they were good. So was the run game. But we're gonna take our next break, and then when we get back, I'm gonna ask Coach some questions over, if you watched anything over the weekend that he liked or saw, and then we will preview Clarksville coming up. So make sure you don't go anywhere.
If you're looking to buy or sell in Dickson County, Tennessee, call Tim Southerland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Southerland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydixon.com.
Looking for a mortgage loan? Look no further than First Lending Solutions. We make getting a mortgage easy with no hidden fees and no surprises. We work for you, not the bank, so you can trust us to have your best interests at heart. Get pre-approved in minutes and enjoy a seamless, stress-free experience. Apply online or call us today.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick here with Coach Tomlinson. This week, Coach, I know the weekend is tough for the high school coaches because there's so much going on. But did you get to watch much this weekend?
I tell you, this past week was homecoming week, and I was exhausted. So I got up Saturday morning and went to my recliner, and I didn't move all day. And so I watched football all day long.
Yeah.
It was flipping from one game to another, and watched Alabama and Georgia, and where Alabama play USF and Georgia play South Carolina, and then watched Tennessee play, and then made it a little bit into the Colorado State game before I just passed out and went to bed. So
well, you missed a good ending to that game. That
there was no way I could have
watch.
made it that late.
No, Lord, no. I barely made it, and I'm a night owl. But of course, I asked you this question a few weeks ago. I asked you if you ever saw something that you liked that you might add to the scheme, but I kind of changed that question up. And you may not want to answer it because I don't want you to give anything away. But have you thought about some ways that your scheme can possibly change going forward, or anything that you'd like to add going forward?
There's stay tuned.
Okay.
Because there's some things that's coming in, down the line. Maybe a little bit this week. There's a little bit more to come. One thing that we always do, and a lot of coaches do it, is you always implement a little bit of a different scheme or a wrinkle to your scheme every week. And so you're going to see, a little bit of something different. So something that the team that you're playing this week isn't prepared for. So that's there.
Yeah, and the kids, they got to look forward to stuff like that too, right? Because, they like doing new stuff.
Oh, yeah, like last week, we put in the heavy package last week for Kirkwood, and we told the offensive lineman, it was like, all right, Jordan, J-Mac, you're going to guard. Trevor, you're coming to the backfield, and you're lining up at fullback, and you saw his eyes get real big, and them linemen were all happy, and they love it when Witt plays well too because he's an old offensive lineman, but Trevor was like, whoever come up with this needs a raise, and so they were excited about it. And so every week when we put something in, whoever it impacts the most, they really get excited about, all right, this is something new.
Yeah, and it's probably hard to. They probably want to come in here and add a bunch of new stuff, right? You got to kind of calm them down sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you can't put in a lot. That's what we talk about as coaches. You can't overwhelm them because you only have 4 days to get ready. So it's got to be something simple. It's got to fit what you do. So what your base staple stuff is still there, and you just want to put a wrinkle in just to have something that they haven't seen before. They're not prepared for. But you can't do a lot. Like I said, they can't grasp a lot of that in 4 days.
No, for sure. And I don't think anybody can. I mean,
no,
it'd
you
be
can't.
difficult for any team.
No, you can't. You're right.
It'd be just like, it'd be like the Titans trying to line up and not use Derrick Henry most of the time. I mean, it'd screw them up too. But, Coach, I one other thing I wanted to ask you too. I know that every year there's a little bit of coaching turnover, and I don't know this year if your coaching staff is much different than it was last year, but does that ever – I know it does. How much does that kind of play into the scheme and how much it can change when you bring new guys in?
It can if you have some turnover, like if you especially if you lose a coordinator, the new coordinator coming in may have some things that they've done in the past that they like, and then you can either – go fully with theirs and change the whole scheme, or you can kind of shape it and maybe try to mold it to what you do. So the terminology might be different, or it might be, a couple of wrinkles here or there that you kind of pulled and picked from it. Fortunate for us, we didn't have any turnover whatsoever. I don't foresee us having any. That's great. We actually picked up a couple of young guys too. So our staff is very large and very good, and I'm excited about what we got here.
That's awesome. Well, we are going to take our last break. Make sure you don't go anywhere. When we get back, we're going to talk about Clarksville. It's the biggest test, I think, so far of the year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, so we're gonna talk about Clarksville. So make sure you don't go anywhere.
Nothing updates your home like new flooring, and we have it all. Carpet, LVP, wood, vinyl, and tile, along with professional installation, warranties, and friendly advice. Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted #1 flooring store in Dickson County.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, voted #1 auto dealer in Dickson County. A truly enjoyable car buying experience. Friendly customer service and a great selection of vehicles. Visit us today.
If you're looking to buy or sell in Dickson County, Tennessee, call Tim Southerland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Southerland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydixon.com.
Watch it! Did that guy even see that girl on her bike? Just like looking for other cars before switching lanes, drivers should keep their eyes out for those traveling on bikes. When a crash occurs between a vehicle and a bike, it's the cyclist who is most likely to be injured. Give cyclists room and do not pass too closely. Riders have the same rights and responsibilities as those behind the wheel.
Be aware, be alert. Brought to you by THSO, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, a truly enjoyable car buying experience. Come see why we were voted number 1 auto dealer in Dickson County. Visit stevejonesauto.com.
If your paint project calls for bold and vibrant neutrals or soft pastels, Benjamin Moore has the design-inspired colors you've been looking for in a full line of durable, long-lasting paints. And they're all here at Preston Thompson's Flooring and Paint, voted number 1 paint store in Dickson County.
Hello and welcome back to the Dickson County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Casey Patrick, here with Coach Jeff Tomlinson. Coach, I know that we got Clarksville coming up. One thing you told me Friday whenever we did the interview was that Isaac Shelby was a former player of yours.
That is correct.
Now, I want to know, just for the folks at home, and me too, just because I'm a little nosy, where did you coach him at, and what position did he play?
Well, I told the players this earlier because we was talking about Clarksville, and we'll get into their scheme in a little bit. But we was talking about them, and I said, listen, guys, I know his scheme and our scheme are very similar because Isaac's one of my former players. And, of course, I was just into coaching. I was probably 22 or 23 years old coaching the offensive line. And he played at Clarksville High. We was at Clarksville High then, and he was a wide receiver. And he very good blocking wide receiver, by the way. His senior year, I think we ended up 10-2 and lost the second round of the playoffs. We were playing Pearl Cone, and our number 1 receiver got all the attention, and he was the other one. He was the number 2 receiver. Well, he had a cast on his hand and was still playing wide receiver. All right, so. Because he blocked so well. Mm-hmm. And we lined up. I think we were down just in the fourth quarter. It was down 4 points or something. And they could double covered our number 1. And Isaac was standing over there all by himself and really hardly nobody covering him. And our quarterback threw it to him in the end zone, and he caught it with one hand in a club. And we ended up going up and holding them and won the game that night against Pearl Cone. So he's a gritty guy. He's a gritty player. I love him to death. He does a great job with his team.
I don't know Coach Shelby personally, but I'll be honest. Every single time I've talked to anybody about him, they talk about he's a really darn good coach, but he's a great person.
Yeah, he's super nice. He's a great guy. He's a great coach. He puts a lot of work into it, and that's what I told the players today. I was like, guys, one thing's for sure, you're getting a team that's going to be very disciplined. They do everything right. They are very good at what they do. That doesn't mean that they're not beatable, but they are good at what they do. I said, I don't personally think they have some good players. They have some really good players, but they don't have no just super athlete players that can take over a game. They take over games as a team because they're so good at what they do.
Well, and Coach Shelby being such a gritty player, you know that his players have to take a bit of that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
As well.
Any team takes a little bit of the characteristic of their coach.
Well, now the kids, I'm sure they know Clarksville's 5-0.
Yeah.
None of their games have really been close.
No.
I asked Coach Thiel a question like this a few weeks ago when they played Pearl Cone. Your guys, they're not scared of them, are they?
No, not at all. No. I think we've built enough confidence up that we're not going to be. We don't back down to anybody. I mean, we played Beach in the preseason. We played Page in the preseason. Both runner-up teams from then. When we've played teams that are similar to them in their size and stature. And I think we're the best team that Clarksville's played to date as well. So, I told the kids that. I said, I don't know a lot about Hopkinsville, but just by comparisons and looking, we're probably their best challenge as well so far this year. So.
Okay, now, and also we just got a few questions left. So I know you told me that their scheme is going to be a lot like y'all's, especially offensively.
Right.
Is this going to be a game of who, I guess, has the ball more and is
it
able
could
to
be
control the clock?
It could be who can move the chains and who can make the least amount of mistakes and not have stupid penalties and turn the ball over. It could very well be the team that can control the ball more wins the game.
Okay. Well, last question, Coach. What do y'all have to do to win on the offensive and defensive side of the ball?
Well, like I said, we got to defensively. We have to play the option very well. You know, we have to be a disciplined assigned football. We got to be able to get the guys that's on the dive, get them on the dive, get the guy to the pitch, and get the guy to the quarterback. And we got to be able to do that mistake-free over and over and over again, because one little mistake and they can take it to the house. So defensively, we got to be extremely disciplined. Offensively, we got to move the ball, keep the ball. We got to keep the ball away from them as much as possible. Our attack this week will be more balanced. There is not going to be a heavy dose of, 39 runs and 3 passes. It's going to be more balanced this week because we have to keep them on their toes defensively and make them cover the field from sideline to sideline.
Yeah, it's going to be important to stay in front of the chains again Friday, isn't it?
That's right, absolutely.
All righty, Coach. Well, y'all know it. He knows it. Big matchup Friday, Clarksville. It's like I said, I think it's the biggest game for y'all so far.
Fun times. Yeah, biggest game for both teams, I believe.
Okay. Now, do you think it's the biggest game you've had since being here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I thought to ask that. So, well, thank y'all for hanging out with us, Coach. Like I said, big game Friday night. I'm excited to see what happens. I think you guys can
I'm
pull
excited
it out.
too. Yeah, I'm excited too.
All righty. Well, thank y'all for hanging out with me. Good luck Friday night, Coach.
Go Cougars.
Go Cougars. Y'all have a good evening.
You've been watching the Dickson County High School Coaches Show with Dickson County head coach Jeff Tomlinson and Dickson Post sports reporter Casey Patrick. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest on Dickson County football. The Dickson County Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, Lee Canifax with Health Markets Insurance, Steve Jones, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Tim Sutherland with Rolling Hills Realty, Preston Thompson's Carpet Shop, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.